Welcome back to another episode of Aunt and Andrew with Family's Everything.
Until it's not. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Aunt. Beautiful day today.
Gorgeous.
I was driving into my little studio.
Yeah.
Sunroof open, windows down, and on a little half a mile drive, I was just busting out to a little
Half a mile.
little Sheena Shea, good as gold.
How does it feel to have the wind whip through your hair?
As good as gold.
Well, I can honestly say the end of this episode, if I look at it and it's complete totalitarian. What word do I keep on wanting to say? I keep on getting stuck on that word.
We're still in Sonoma or wherever, and that's what's just bothering me.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't like when we are in one spot more than a day, I guess, episode. There is no redeeming quality to Alexis Bellino.
Well, yes.
At all.
We start with the scene, obviously Heather and Alexis are continuing.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt now that everyone needs to see how incredibly painful this is for Shannon Bedore. And it's so much bigger than her DUI. It's so much bigger than the drinking. It's past all that. And everyone that says, oh, Bravo's doing Shannon dirty by bringing Alexis on the show. I think everyone needs to stop for a second and realize that most likely a lot of this stuff would be happening whether they were on the show or not, just because of the way that Shannon's a public figure. So John would probably be doing this to her, whether it's on camera or not. And so
you mean the lawsuit?
The lawsuit and the not side. Yeah, because Shannon's on TV. She's a celebrity.
Yeah.
So I'm happy Bravo has it on because it's giving Shannon like actual footage and actual, sound bites.
Oh, so you're saying that this is actually better for Shannon. So instead of having to, hopefully she comes off as sympathetic, she is coming off as sympathetic. Yeah. Where if they weren't appearing, without a doubt. So actually.
Yeah, like imagine her if she was going through pain and turmoil, but she's like, imagine if
but
she
it's all happening
Alexis's
off screen.
Maybe she couldn't say their names.
Yeah.
So she'd be like, my ex and his new girlfriend, my ex and his new girlfriend.
Right.
And it would be something where it was hearsay. And then Alexis and John, Alexis and Johnny J.
Okay, I have
Johnny J, who doesn't like to have any publicity, but yet he's sitting, front row in the hot seat at Watch What Happens Live with a scarf on from like 1995 and a Jesus jugs necklace around his neck.
Oh yeah, when he had the cross on, Watch What Happens Live. Okay, if people don't know what we're talking about because we kind of jumped ahead, I'm going to call them JJ squared.
JJ squared. Jesus jugs and Johnny J.
Yeah.
I love that.
I came up with JJ squared. So JJ, meaning the couple, JJ squared, they were on Watch What Happens Live after this week's OC with Andy Cohen, who has terrible laryngitis.
Oh, horrible laryngitis.
He must have had COVID because every time you get COVID now, you get laryngitis. That's my opinion.
Is that why your voice is so clear?
Yeah, no, because I think I've had COVID when I've had laryngitis.
Like about a couple months ago?
When I couldn't talk, I think I had COVID. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I couldn't give it to anybody on the podcast. Of course. So I think with JJ Squared.
Yeah.
That they were on Watch What Happens Live. And he's got a cross sticking outside of his t-shirt. And I'm just thinking, oh, that's so like, and then he doesn't want to be called a rapper. It was a little rappish, I guess, the way he had his
oh yeah, exactly,
hanging out,
but not even just. I mean,
with his leather coat.
My point is that like Johnny, no one made up Johnny J except your girlfriend Alexis Bellino. So like, why are we even like? I don't get it. It makes no sense. But I feel bad for Shannon. We have lots of empathy for her. She has done such. Honestly, in the grand scheme of how visible Shannon's been, how long she was with John on the show, she's never taken breaks. She's never been on pause.
Right.
That she was able to keep him off the show for the most part. It was very
he wasn't on that much.
No. And she protected him, and she even shut down the lunch with Vicky and Tamra, talking about barely nothing.
Yes.
And so this whole, I need to fix my reputation. What reputation, John?
Right.
What reputation? No one cares about you.
Nobody, you know what? If he didn't bring this lawsuit, nobody'd even be mentioning him.
No one thought twice. Like, listen.
He's dug his own grave here.
Yes, and just like I think that the fat shaming thing never stuck. How many relationships in this world do the people make comments about each other's weight to each other privately?
Again, you skipped ahead a little bit.
Yeah,
people didn't see Watch What Happens Live.
Well, no, I'm talking about Shannon and Heather and that final scene, and then going into Alexis not wanting to be there. Alexis, you're being played, and I hope the viewers
so
see.
bad.
I
and
hope the
as
viewers
Emily
see.
said, she's on the JJ defense train.
I see Alexis's point too, because she doesn't know anything that's going on. She doesn't it's not that she's right. I don't feel bad for her, but based on the blockage that she's put up of who John was with Shannon, what viewers have seen for years, Shannon Bedore has been on the show when you've been off the show.
Well, she watched.
She put up a brick wall around the reality of Shannon Bedore and John. And for that, I feel like, oh, Alexis, you're like, I feel for you, but you're choosing to ignore so much that we all know. So I don't really feel bad for you.
I don't feel. Are you talking about Alexis now? Because
I'm just saying that, like, she didn't go to dinner. I'm going in order of the show. You're fixating on how we jumped ahead, but I'm going in the order of the show.
I know, I am.
Both of them are going through a hard time. Alexis just doesn't have to. She could say, I don't know what she's been
through. Is she talking about the fact that her mother died? Is that what
she's saying? That right now in her new relationship, she has to deal with all the shit with Shannon. Well, that's your choice, honey. You went on the show with Shannon.
She brings it in.
Yeah.
And she makes it sound like Shannon is beholden to her to have a relationship with Alexis, with her. And she doesn't even have an orange.
But she's forgetting that John and
she's
Shannon
forgetting
are on the
she's
show.
A friend.
John and Shannon were on the show together. Shannon's a full-time cast member. This isn't just your boyfriend's ex-girlfriend not accepting you after years of maybe being apart, all this. Like, it's just so easy to understand why Alexis is walking into all of her stress, whereas Shannon is not. Shannon's doing her every day, every year, filming the show. This is me with my girlfriends. Oh, now there's my ex-boyfriend's girlfriend is on the show.
Yeah.
Shannon's the regular. Shannon's the housewife.
That's what I mean.
Alexis, you're coming on the show. You don't have to. And she's like,
she doesn't have an orange.
Said he'd give me double. Then why did you come on the show? No one's asked that question. So wait, he was giving you double the money. You knew that his ex-girlfriend's going to be on the show. So did you come on the show to try to restore your boyfriend's reputation? Yes.
No. That may be part of it, but first of all, I don't think he had a bad reputation. It was one of those things. I've told you all along, and I'm going to say it again. I think she's being gaslit. She's being love bombed. She's being triangulated big time.
And he's weaponizing her. He's using her as a weapon.
Weaponized her. And I believe that Alexis's belief is that Shannon went hard for John and defended him on the show all the time. John. Okay.
Yeah.
And that if Alexis goes even harder, that John will love her. And she won't be part of the covert narcissism of triangulating and love bombing and the whole bit. And she's feeling like if I fight really hard against she's fighting his battle.
Totally.
He's not fighting his battle at all.
That's why he's not Slade Smiley.
And
he's not Slade Smiley.
Yeah, totally. He's not Slade Smiley.
And John, if you break up with Alexis, which you will, we all know.
Yeah.
Please don't date a woman that's on television.
Oh,
please don't.
Don't
date someone who doesn't have a cell phone, doesn't have social media. Keep all your mental, emotional abuse private because that's who you are. Do not put another woman through this public trauma of being a normal person and having feelings and then sharing them in their job. And then you being like,
I'd like to know what other ex-housewives he could go after. He could go Lynn Curtin. He could go Gina Keogh. Who else do we have?
I think Vicky would be perfect for him.
Oh my God, Vicky wouldn't tolerate it. She already had enough with Brooks. Don't give that to Vicky again. Emily is correct, first of all, in going to Alexis saying, like, it's too much. And then when it's exposed that they will not sign the agreement,
bum, ba-dum, bum, bum.
It's all about the money. Actually,
Totally.
I have to start to wonder if Alexis's new diamond didn't come courtesy of
Well, I'm sure it did, but at the same time, I don't think it's all about the money.
Not Tamra, Shannon.
Because
no. It's not about the money. And he was also on Watch What Happens Live, and he says, "Why didn't you sign the NDA?
Yep.
Why did you pursue this?" He's like, "I've been disparaged for the last 5 years by Shannon. She said I paid for everything, and that's not true.
Fat shamed her, or
and then I
whatever.
fat shamed her. Really? I should be able to talk about these things. Oh, he's a freaking. He should
He's a
turn in.
loser.
He should turn in his man card."
Maybe he's taken the 75 grand to go be an investor at Jack's Bar and Studios.
That would be another J. No more J's.
I will say that Shannon showing up to the outdoor nature thing without the hairbrush is why we love her.
I love her so much. And the funny part is, first she staggers in and she doesn't, I forgot my hairbrush, as if everything
they're
else.
like going to like a outdoor like mental health like activity. They should just shower and show up as is. And they all got glammed up and had and Shannon put on a little bit foundation, a little bit of eye stuff, threw her hair back without a hairbrush.
No, she didn't. Her hair was hanging. Yeah. I mean, it was so good. And I thought to myself, I said, Shannon showing up in her clothes, I forgot my hairbrush, as if the rest of it being a mess had nothing to do with anything. And then she plops down, she's coughing. But the best was when she turned over and she says, "I smell grass." And I thought, of course you smell grass. You're halfway to center earth at this point.
Exactly.
Your face is so planted into the ground. The way she plopped over. And Jen is looking at her like, "Where are you? Come back, come back." And I got to say one thing about Jen. If you're not talking to her, she is perplexed and bewildered in every scene.
Always.
Honestly, she's like, it's like she's stoned without being stoned.
No, she's an The thing I have to tell you about Jen is that she'd be that friend that if you just need to go and share your problems and you don't want devil's advocate, you don't want, well, what did you do?
Yes.
She is that friend that just sits there and is like,
she's perplexed.
But then she's like, we should go back in there. And then Shannon's like, yeah. It was like so odd. And I will say that Tamra, you gotta love her. I am starting to feel that Tamra Judge was brought back on the show as a I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. 2 T's in a pod needed to be back on the Housewives. They needed more publicity. The podcast network's growing. And OC needed someone that is willing to go to another cast member and say, oh, well, she said that because she also said she needs to keep it close for her real estate connections. Yeah. And no one else on this cast has the ability to go and have that conversation without showing like emotion, without showing their motive, and just be really dry and be like, well, you know, this is what she said. And the only one that can get away with it in Orange County is Tamra Judge.
Well, yeah, but I had another thought about Tamra this week watching her because I think she is a mean girl. I just do.
She is, but that's a housewife. Tamra's an expert housewife. Expert.
Granted. Okay. My belief is that she's become friends with Alexis because she's actually mad that the Dos Amigos has continued without her. I think she really wanted Tres Amigos, like, I'm not doing it, and that it ceased to exist.
She was friends with Alexis before that.
No. I have two sections here. Okay. I have 2 issues to make here. One, I think she's taking Alexis's side. She's leaning Alexis. How's that? She's leaning Alexis because she's sort of mad at Shannon that her and Vicky are keeping this going on.
I don't think it has anything
without
to do
her.
with that.
I do.
No.
And number 2, I think she is going at Gina because she's mad that anybody is siding with Shannon. So I think she's taking sides here. And with Tamra, it's never up on the up and up. It's always buried underneath with her sly little snake. If she went to get a sorting hat in Harry Potter, I guarantee you she'd be a Slytherin.
Probably, but I just think you're totally off with these conspiracies. I think
It's not a conspiracy.
I think Tamra's just a bitch and she's a perfect
Oh,
housewife.
no. She's that too.
Yeah.
But I think she's mad at Vicky and Shannon because they kept this Tres Amigas minus uno
I think she has
going.
an issue with Shannon one-on-one, and I think that she holds a grudge. And I think with Gina, she just knows that, like, she just knows how to create a rift that doesn't involve her, but that she can, spin it.
Yeah, but I think some of it is because Gina is sympathetic with Shannon. I do. I just do. But she won't go after Heather, who's also sympathetic. And this idea, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. With what JJ2 is pulling up. Joe, what did I say? JJ squared? Okay, yeah. JJ squared is pulling up. I don't know how anybody can be friends with Alexis because she's shown she has a history of suing people.
Yes, but what I'm saying is I don't think that in the moment as they're filming, they're not watching these scenes. Like, I would think their perspectives now are probably different, but I think they also, like, you have to remember too, all of these women have gotten a bad cut before. All of these women have been like, they've seen how Bravo edits. And I just think that they have to like take things with a little bit of a grain of salt until they think they watch it back or they hear more about it. Because I can imagine, for example, like Gina saying the thing about the realtors, like this is good for business. But I don't think it was probably said that way. Like, I think it was probably like a joke at the end of the statement. I don't think that she's just keeping Heather around for her connections. I also think we have to remember, and this is just...
Well, and not only that, she could say, oh, well, Heather's got great connections, not even meaning business. Because let's face it, Heather has a lot of great connections.
She
Heather
does, and a lot of them are realtors. Like
hair,
you think that she's
makeup,
tossing her business to
surgery.
Gina?
No, of course not. You know what I mean? Especially where her son's doing it now. But I'm saying Heather is kind of like, in a weird way, like a Jill Zarin of OC. Because she knows a lot of people. She does. She has kids. She has all that function in life.
She's got tons of kids.
She's in media. She's in movies. If you go look at her resume.
IMDb.
Yeah. She's got her husband and all he's involved in. She's got a lot of connections. That
Heather Dubrow is a boss.
Yeah, but there is a Jill Zarin aspect of where she can connect you with people if you needed it.
I like that Gina brought up the issue with Katie, and they all hashed it out right there on the spot.
Yeah, that's
and I like that Katie kept going, and I like that Gina kept going. And I thought the episode was going to end with them even more in a fight, but it just kept showing them going, I'm still, but you said, no, but they had already made up. It was great. It was perfect. Right. It was exactly what happens when two friends run their mouths a little bit too much, which happens all the time. And it was the way that it should happen. And I think, and Andy Cohen, that's what he means when he's like, the reunion is supposed to be getting through problems, not, keeping them festering. Because there are things that are deep. Teresa and Melissa giving examples, right? Family, big issues.
Yeah.
And then there are things that aren't. And when they don't get resolved, they become big time issues. In the grand scheme of John Jansen and Shannon and what we're about to see with Jennifer Pedrante and Mr. Shonay Otani Ryan.
It takes the whole curve.
The fight between Katie and Gina and that involves Heather is meaningless. Like we've said before, who cares if she called the paparazzi? Who cares?
Who cares? I don't care.
And who cares if Gina says, you know what? I'm a realtor. I have clients that are looking for houses, and I want Heather to tell me if any of her friends are looking to sell so that I can bring my clients to go see those houses if they have the budget. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that was her number one reason of keeping Heather Dubrow around. I think Katie's holding on to that little tidbit, which we have no idea if it was said in a way that was really big or if it was just at the end, like, all these reasons why she loves Heather. And then it's like, and she also knows a lot of rich people. So it's always good.
Yeah.
Which is I not like, we all have friends that were like, we love them for X, Y, and Z, but we're also like, oh, and they got great parties or they always have good food.
Well, not only that, remember,
cup of coffee.
Gina's got a small house. She's trying to make it on her own. She got this whole thing with Travis going. He's in the middle of divorce. Things are messy. I don't think he has a lot of extra money.
Neither one of them have extra money. That's why they had to move out.
And so I can appreciate if Gina has this wealthy, well-connected friend that you would hope in one way or another, she might not springboard you, but elevate you just a little. I think
just
that's
go bring
normal.
you to events. You meet people that can help you. It's a good way.
Right.
And you know what? Gina's not there is something to be said about a woman that has multiple kids that had to take time off from developing as a mom.
Life.
Not everyone is able to, for whatever reason, whether it's, again, with Gina, it was moving cross country and friends, and husband then obviously was doing the whole thing that he did. And I can see why she wasn't able to be a mom of 4 and also like have a career at that time. It's hard enough, as we all know, with, just people in our family of people that are mothers and working full time. And unless you're like in a familiar place doing things, it's difficult when your life is changing, I guess you could say. I don't want to say it was in shambles the whole time with Gina, but she moved across the country, that.
Oh no, her life has had a lot of shambles.
Yeah, it's had up and downs.
No, I mean, since she moved to California, she had kids, she went on a TV show, she got a DUI, she got divorced.
Yeah.
She got a new career. She's had a lot of
and so she's looking to pick it up. And you know what? One thing that I like Heather saying, and I think it relates to this, is Heather Dubrow has done a very good job over the past 2 episodes at just acknowledging that she has had a pretty stress-free life. She's had a lot of money like come into her and Terry's world.
Yeah.
And it allows you, I think this is the lesson here, is money makes the hardest things in life easier. It doesn't solve it. It doesn't make you happier.
Money doesn't solve problems.
Anything.
It makes it easier it doesn't prevent problems.
It can't. Yeah.
It makes it easier to fix the problem.
And some that can't be fixed, it just makes it
some
easier
still
to tolerate.
Can't be fixed. I mean, how many celebrities? I just saw a picture this week. It has nothing to do with anything, of like James Brolin's son, who lives in like some hotel, and he's like 400 pounds, and he had everything. He's James Brolin's son. He's Barbara Streisand's stepson, and yet he's living in squalor, this obese man, and money can't fix that.
No, but
I'm sure they threw. But I'm sure, but I'm sure they threw money at the problem until they realized that money wasn't the solution.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Like, I know here's what I feel about money. I know some people gotten very, very sick, and they had to like go to another city for treatment. Because they have some money, they're able to stay in a hotel and be more comfortable. Where other people, they don't have that
McDonald
money.
House. They have
to
they charities.
Have to be at charities to do with, versus somebody else is staying in a hotel at room service.
Yes.
So, but you both got cancer at the end of the day.
Exactly. So it doesn't. So it changes the experience, but it can't solve it.
Right. Now, tell me, do you hate when people say, "I want to talk to you about something," but not now, not now? We'll talk about it another time, but
I don't do it. I don't do well with it at all.
I don't either, because I would have so much anxiety if somebody came up to me and said, "I got a problem with you and I'm going to talk about it," but not now. It's a charity event. And even Alexis going, "Why would Shannon be like this at a charity event?" And Alexis, so animated, so over the place when they went to Shannon and said, "Will you talk to Alexis, please?"
I know.
And she's standing there going at the window, "Oh God, go to bed." And you don't have an orange, girl. That's all I can say.
No.
JJ squared, you don't have an orange.
All right, who's your
go
mess?
home.
Discount
I just want to say one more
Alexis.
thing. When Alexis wanted to like, "Oh, I know you won't give me a hug," like, and did that. And then again, she makes it all about her. And I am upset actually with all of these women that they're even saying, "Well, we want to be friends with Shannon and Alexis, and don't make, Alexis, don't think because we're sympathetic to Shannon that we're not sympathetic to you." What the hell has Alexis Bellino been through that is so traumatic that they have to have sympathy for her? I want to know, because I don't. I have no sympathy for her, and I'm mad at these women for having any sympathy with her. I'm team Shannon.
So who's the mess? Everyone but Shannon?
No, Shannon's a mess this episode.
Okay, because that's what I was going to say.
The way she arrived with the hair, it was so fabulous. Just anytime, listen, if there's Spanx involved or anything physical like this, go to Shannon Bedore because, oh, I love her.
And let me tell you, the preview we are getting, let's just say this. It's about to be the first inning.
Oh my gosh.
If you know what I'm talking about, the baseball reference. We're in the batter's box. We're warming up. We're on deck. Anywho,
let's
follow
go to
us,
the deck.
like us, subscribe us, find us, stalk us. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Kisses, kisses. Love, 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 love.